All right, Tom, how are you?
Oi, I'm good, mate. How you doing?
Not so bad. We got we do this once a year, and I got a good feeling about this year's Canada All Canadian Musicians Draft. How do you feel, bloke?
Oh, I feel pretty good, mate. Just gotta keep it local, show the love, spread the love, and talk about some of our favorite blokes from this side, from up north, the Great White North.
North of the border, yeah. Our sister
Yeah.
station might tune in later. They're stateside, of course, as you all know. But here we are. It's 2019, the year of our queen, if you know what I mean. And we're rocking and rolling and feeling the vibes. Feeling the vibes up north. So, I'd like to apologize in advance to the Bare Naked Ladies. I know everyone who listens likes them. We don't. Get over it, all right? That's just something we're going to have to get past. And these strong Canadian accents and love for Sum 41 is just going to be the driving force on this one, eh, mate? What do you say? All right, so you got to roll the dice there, old boy.
I done bloody cleaned my studio and I can't find the dice anymore.
You're not one to clean. Spring cleaning, eh?
Oh, yeah, bruv.
When you get back up into the 40 degrees range, you gotta pick up a little bit before the 2 months of summer hits, huh?
Up here in the Great White North, brother, I'm wearing shorts in the 20s, yeah.
All right. You find the dice there, bloke?
No dice today, bruv. We're just gonna say
I got
you
a number.
go first.
All right, I got it like this. I got a number behind my back, and I'm going to go with this. I had a tickle in my throat before, and we're just going to go with this now. It's either a 1 or a 2, and you got to pick one before we even start. Because if you get it wrong, I'm going to pick first, and if you pick right, then it's going to be you. Obviously, don't be mental. All right. So I got my number hung like right there now, and go ahead and pick whenever you're ready.
Let's call it a 2, man.
You motherfucker! All right,
Oh.
you pisser! You're such a pisser. I think is what I usually say all the time on this show. A long-time listener would know that. All right, so I guess you pick first, and then we'll snake it, and I'll get 2 after that, and then we'll just these are our top 5 favorite Canadian artists, top 5 Canadian songs. Could be from a band, could be from a solo artist, from any time in Canada's glorious musical history. So, let's let her rip, Tommy boy, huh? What you say, huh?
All right, well, I think we have to establish some rules first, but do you think we should check in with our mates down below the border?
This is my least favorite part of the show every week, but why the not, huh? Why the So, I would say Julian Casablancas, I'm not even sure. What I would love to know is how he felt about that song, whatever happened, even ending up in the Marie Antoinette soundtrack. You know what I mean? It was just an odd juxtaposition from the wardrobe in the movie to the soundtrack itself. It was just kind of new. What would you say your favorite Strokes song is?
I couldn't name a single Strokes song.
Man, okay. Yeah, I mean, I knew heading into the Strokes episode that I would have to do a little more of the heavy lifting, even though they're not my favorite band at all. This is kind of why we've been putting it off. All right, that's enough of that. We don't need to hear that rubbish.
That's the bloody f***ing mental. Don't know a Strokes song.
Oh, my God. Julian Casablancas. More like Julian Casawankas. Oh, my God. Just a waste of bloody hot air, those bastards are, what I say. Keep it Canadian, keep it rolling is what we say up here. Of course, if you listen to the show, which most of you obviously do, you know that's our catchphrase. And, what you say we get it started here, old brother?
Let's just dive right into it. So I go first because I'm the winner, of course, the better of the 2 co-hosts on this show. I am going to
watch it there, mate. Watch it. You're getting a little...
You better watch it there, brother. I'll knock you right out of the rocks.
If I've ever seen bollocks, I've seen it here right now today on this playing field. I'm going to stand for it. I'm going to come through the microphone and punch you in the bloody f***ing mouth. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I might have had a pint.
Where'd you say you were from again, bro?
I ain't going back to drinking, but if you drive me back to it, I'm going to sock you in the bloody suckhole if you hear me, bruh. Anyway, let's get this started. I didn't mean to fight this early. I figured it'd be at least round three. You know what I mean?
Free. Well, for round one, I'm going to start us off on the right foot. Got to get some old chaps from the band Sum 41. And I got to go with Fat Lip, bruv. I mean, that song is just bloody fucking mental. White boys rapping like a couple of scallywags.
It wouldn't surprise me if you picked 5 Sum 41 songs on this here Canadian mixtape tour we having going on here.
I gotta tell you, I was bloody tempted, but I think we should establish some rules that.
All right, lay it on me.
Maybe only one song from one artist. H.
All right, it's going to be harder for you than it is for me, there, blood. You sure you want to agree with something like that?
Let's go for it.
Sounds good to me. I guess it's my turn then, huh? All right. Apologies again to Arcade Fire. I am not going to be picking any of their songs today. That's Bare Naked Ladies and Arcade Fire, Swing and a Miss. Long-time listeners, I know you've been asking for it, but why are you still listening if you know we're not going to talk about them? But I'm going to go with the new Pornographers, Use It. I love David Cross. I love that he's in that music video. That song rocks hard as hell. And yeah, I love those blokes, the new Pornographers. That'll be my number one pick here in the all-Canadian music mixtape draft.
Lots of horny chaps up here in this country. Got the new Pornographers, the Bare Naked Ladies.
It's true. Maybe Canadians have a thing for naming their, well, I guess that's good. I remember being in my buddy Joe's house as a young bloke, and I remember seeing the word on the CD. I said, this is, I don't know what, is this porn? Is this actually just porn? And he was like, no, mate, it's bloody fucking music. I said, oh my God. This is, I don't know, my mum would say, I got to put it in me Walkman and not take it out, you know what I'm saying? So, threw me a bit, but the music's pretty good and rock and roll, you know, that's real Canadian rock and roll. So, yeah, that's me submitting my number one pick. Does that mean I get to go next, eh?
Yeah, it's a bloody fest up there, mate. Oh, we all up here, right? This is such a difficult thing we're trying to do here. Stay in character.
You got to stay there. You got to find it. You got to stay in it. You know, it's a bit rough. But you got to put in the work. You know what I mean? And round 2, we're going to kick it off. I'm going to take it way back to Joni Mitchell, Big Yellow Taxi. I really like it. I think the Counting Crows did it a bit of justice, but you got to give credit to the Canadian original gangster herself, Joni. I mean, she really brought it home with that one, don't you think?
Can't say I know it, bro.
Tom, oh my God, Tom. This is like, you over here saying you don't even respect the Beatles, which, you know, God save the Queen. Heaven forbid you even speak those words on these damn airwaves, but...
The Beatles.
It's paving paradise and putting up parking lots and whatnot. You know the bloody song. Piss off. I said piss off. It's a Canadian tradition to use the word piss when showing disrespect for someone you're with or near in the general vicinity. I think that's generally, I don't even know why I have to explain it because it's so generally accepted as something that's totally Canadian to do.
Round 2 gets a little bit harder. I mean, all my favorite bands.
You made the own rule. You were going to pick a Sum 41 song and you're going yourself with your own rule. You're bloody mental, bruv.
I think I don't rightly know that you know the other bands I'm going for here. So I think I might have to go with Simple Plan. I'm Just a Kid. Simple Plan, God Save the Queen, rock and roll really know how to make a good record out in the early 2000s. Where'd my bloody accent go, bro?
You got a tickle in your throat. It's like I was speaking a different language when the show started, and I don't know what happened.
This is the worst thing I've ever tried to do, bro.
I think it was... I got a great uncle who's from Nova Scotia. I think it started to kick in a bit. And, get a little bit emotional. But you got to keep it... Obviously, we were born and raised in Winnipeg. That's the backstory, as we know. But, okay. Simple Plan. This is a draft that's built for you. These are all your childhood favorites. I'm not sure why you were so hesitant to even do this. This is made for you, Tom. It's made for you.
So looking into round 3 here, I'm going to go with my bloody friends up in Youth Fountain. They have a song called In Bloom, and it's just bloody fucking righteous. It hits hard. The vocals are great. The music is in your face, and it just makes me want to groove, baby. It is some of the best new music coming out of this fine country, maple country up in Canada. Where'd my bloody fucking accent go?
Oh, go. You have a cold. You get your flu shot. You got to get bloody taken care of when the winter changes. When it comes, you don't want to be one of the degens from up country. You know what I'm saying?
I hate this so much, dude.
I know you do, and it makes me love it all the more. Do you? Is that a cover? Is that a Nirvana cover you're talking? In Bloom?
Oh, that was weird. It's called Blooms, not In Bloom, as previously suspected. Sorry, I had a tickle in my throat. All better now. Blooms, yes.
Yeah, it's going around, that throat tickle I hear. It's not great. Well, I hope you feel all right. I hope you're hydrating and everything. So that tosses it off to me, and I think you probably saw this one coming. I'm going to go with the Weaker Than's Plea from a Cat Named Virtue.
Ah, nice.
Which might be one of my top 10 favorite songs of all time.
Wow.
Got into them in college / got into them. It might be in my top 5, dude. The Weaker Than's Rip It Up. Sun in an Empty Room. So sad. Actually, I think if we actually were doing this with the rule that you didn't have a restriction on bands, you would have picked at least 3 Sum 41 songs, and I would have picked at least 3 Weaker Than songs. Because my next 2 are kind of obvious and just like kind of tributes to, I don't even know. I knew you were going to go Sum 41 and Simple Plan and all that. Man, there's a lot. Like my honorable mentions, apologies to Alexis on Fire as well, because they're making my honorable mentions, and every round I'm gonna include a really good musical act that I'm not including. But I gotta go. Let's see. So far I have Use It by New Pornographers, which is a fun song with an even more fun music video. Props to David Cross. Joni Mitchell, Big Yellow Taxi, just a classic, really good song. And my round 3 pick is gonna have to be Weaker Than's Plea from a Cat Named Virtue. It was one of my first YouTube experiences, like Wedding Crashers, the title song at the end when the credits roll, Aside by Left and Leaving plays by them, and I did not know what to Google at all. That and MmmWhatcha from that one digital short on SNL. Those are the 2 songs I had the hardest time figuring out how to Google to get the YouTube videos to come up. Anyway, Imogen Heap discussions aside, what's your mixtape looking like so far?
So far, it's looking like Fat Lip by Sum 41, the obvious choice to start off on. Blooms by Youth Fountain. And is that all I have?
No, you had Simple Plan, right?
Oh, Simple Plan, I'm Just a Kid. Yeah. So that was number 2, Simple Plan. Did I even say I'm Just a Kid? I honestly was so wrapped up in the accent, I don't remember anything.
I think that it would be fair to say that based on, I don't know, you've told a few stories regarding Simple Plan on the show, but what's your favorite one for those just joining us? Like if you've never heard the show before and you didn't know Tom was really into Simple Plan as a kid, what was that era of your life like, and what was like the song that defined it the most?
Probably Addicted was like, that was the first song that I guess it still was top 40, but like I think it was my first departure from like whatever R&B or like whatever was on the radio at the time. It was like my first taste of pop punk. It's like what kind of paved the way for Blink-182 to come along and really take over my entire life.
When you first heard the I'm a Dick part, were you like, oh my God?
I was like, oh, yeah. Like, this is the most badass thing I've ever heard. But
it was.
No, I know I've told the story probably twice at least. But again, for new listeners who don't have the time to go through our 200 hours of back catalog, my first day of 6th grade, the nuns at my Catholic school asked everyone what their favorite song was. And at the time, it was God Must Hate Me by Simple Plan. And I just remember like the air being sucked out of the room when I said that. And Sister Michelle was my 6th grade teacher, was like, what did you say? And then like later on that day, we were playing kickball. Obviously, I drilled a home run and I hit the right in the head with the kickball. And she hated me ever since. And she made the rest of my 2 years there an absolute living
Is
hell.
she the one that called you out on your hair?
That was Sister Colette. That was the principal. But all the nuns hated me. I mean, they conspired against me like they told my mom that I was like failing all my classes and I got grounded from anything electronic, like TV, Game Boy, all that stuff for 6 months. And then when I got my report card, I had like straight A's. They were just like saying shit to get me in trouble. Said I was like not doing well in class. And then all the comments on my report card were positive. They were just like, I don't know, dude. It was so weird. It was so weird why they hated me so much. Like I didn't mean to hit her with a kickball, but that just like set up my entire Catholic school career. And I blame it on Simple Plan, but I still love them.
No, they're the ones that helped you through, it sounds like.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I think what I'm learning is that music from Canada really helped shape and mold Tom over the years.
Oh, yeah.
Because a lot of these, I wasn't joking before when I said that this is kind of a draft built for you. I'm surprised you limited it to one song per band.
I mean, there's a lot of good stuff. I think I was trying to not get wrapped up in Sum 41 because there's a lot of other good stuff coming out from the Great White North. So wanted to make sure we hit all of it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think now that we're 3 songs deep, apologies to Michael Bublé, who is not going to make my final mixtape. But I think you get to kick off round 4.
I do. And I'm actually, this is the band I've recommended on the show before. I didn't know they were Canadian until I found I was looking at the Pop Punkers subreddit. And I was going to ask people, what their favorite Canadian bands were, but like a good internet boy, I did a search to see if that had already happened.
Good internet boy. That's my favorite one so far. Of all the times we've ever used boy after the dumbest phrase we could think of, good internet boy is, I mean, you might need club horns, man. I'm sorry to add more editing to your plate, but just lay a few down, like right here. Because good internet boy by far is, I guess if somebody was going to get a tattoo based on something said in this show, good internet boy would have to be the choice, right?
Oh, man. It makes me think of like a baby doll body with like the Mac Finder icon for a head, the little smiley face thing, and the just like
interesting.
A computer baby hybrid. Anyways,
get on it, super fans.
But I'm in all these Facebook groups and for podcasters and stuff, and all these people ask the same fucking question like 5 times a day. And my response is always, do a search. We answer this question every single day, every 2 hours. And it drives me crazy. So I don't want to be that guy. So I went in and I searched for Canadian or Canada pop punkers, and boom, there it was. Like the question's already been asked 4 times, so I could just steal all their answers. And I came up with Like Pacific. Again, did not know they were Canadian beforehand, but their song In Spite of Me is so good. It's the album opener on their latest record, I believe. And they have a lot of good songs, but that song freaking rips. So, Like Pacific.
In your top 5?
Yeah, I mean, I know
Halifax, Alexis on Fire, and Avril are not yet picked by you.
No.
Ooh. I'm just saying. I'm not passing judgment. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. That's all.
I mean, I'm not listening.
I thought I knew you.
I'm putting down songs that I'm listening to currently, and as much as I loved Alexis on Fire freshman year of high school, I'm not really listening to it too much these days. So
that's fair. I guess I'm going more of a Desert Island route.
Sure.
Which, again, you made a plea for rules earlier, and I said, no, let's just power through it. And we are on different pages, as always. Which leads me to my next selection of Shania Twain, Don't Impress Me Much. The Canadian queen herself. The Skating Party Extravaganza song. Top-selling artist of the universe, right? No, just kidding. But obviously a legend for sure. So wait, so you've got a car? No, just those like talking... pre-chorus things always got me going like, oh my God, that's some serious dude getting thrown by Miss Twain on that one. I don't know if it's a stage name, but it would be awesome if it was. Good call. If not, cool name nonetheless. And some of this is mostly just like other than the Weaker Thans and the New Pornographers, 3 of my picks, Joni Mitchell and Shania Twain, just kind of paying homage. I didn't want to do the episode without pointing out the variety didn't want to just pick a bunch of Sum 41 songs between the two of us, I guess, basically. So anyway, trying to cover the spectrum there. And Don't Impress Too Much is actually a bop, so I'm not even mad about it. Yeah.
You're not
Definitely
wrong, man.
skating party memories, though. Although I will say, I don't know which of our friends are from the skating party era, but I feel like a woman was also a super skating party pop, right? Definitely middle school dance stuff going on there. It was always like an easy, good bit for like a guy to lip sync the words and act, it would get laughs. I saw people do it with success without even really much preparation. So it enraged me, but also I guess they were getting the laugh. So it is what it is.
Right.
Circa 2004.
Shania Twain rips, man. I definitely have some fond memories of that song. Hanging out on 33rd Street with my step siblings and the Hammer family, and them kind of blasting it through their bedroom window onto the street while we like rollerbladed and
Oh, you
stuff.
hung out with the Hammers?
A little bit, yeah. We used to hang out with Gene. We had a nickname.
Did you ever hang out with the Dieters?
A little bit, yeah. But the
yeah, okay. You guys were up in that neighborhood.
Yeah, the Hammers were like, you could see their house from my front yard. So we were there a bit when the
with the Burecks, that was a big soccer neighborhood. Like a lot of like Iroquois soccer players would have come from that specific block, I feel like.
Yeah.
Both boys and girls. Anyway, that's not important for the show, but to me it's like, oh, wow, that's kind of interesting. We're working on an Iroquois soccer book, so there's some research that's been put into it. So
you
get to round off the round 5, right? Or do I pick?
I think it's you.
All right. Well, this is I mentioned I Love You Man last episode.
Yeah.
Which was the reason I guess it wasn't even on theme with the episode, but we were talking about ordering food at restaurants, and I said I sometimes get fish tacos if they have them because of that movie. I'm almost ashamed to admit that that's also the reason why this song is on my list. But you can't do a Canadian song episode and not mention Rush. Apologies, of course, to Tokyo Police Club in the meantime. But I'm going to go with Tom Sawyer, as they would say in the movie. So that brings my final playlist to Use It by the New Pornographers, Big Yellow Taxi by Joni Mitchell, Plea from a Cat Named Virtue by the Weaker Thans, Don't Impress Me Much by Shania Twain, and Tom Sawyer by Rush as my all-time top 5 Canadian tunes for this particular draft that we've chosen to do. And that hands the baton off to you, my good man. And in the meantime, apologies, of course, to the Queen Avril Lavigne, which we did an entire episode on, because it would be also a crime not to include her, not to put any pressure on Tom. But Alexis on Fire, Bare Naked Ladies, Arcade Fire, Tokyo Police Club, Avril Lavigne, Sum 41, Michael Bublé did not make my particular mixtape.
It's interesting that my oldest song is Sum 41, and then you have Rush, Joni Mitchell, and I guess Shania Twain.
I was conflicted Googling. There's so many.
Yeah.
And of course, it depends. Like sometimes we do the Desert Island thing. Sometimes we do what we're listening to now. When Where the Wild Things Are came out, that Arcade Fire song was obviously spreading like wildfire across sophomores at college's headphones, like throughout the continental Americas. I'm sure in Canada it was very popular as well.
Which song?
I'm going to look it up instead of singing the
okay, yeah.
Which, of course, they're more than that song in that soundtrack, but are they? I don't know. I know. I've upset one listener in particular probably 3 times over on this episode. But.
We studied Arcade Fire in my audio program because they put out some albums in surround sound. And a lot of bands that do surround sound mixes, they kind of just cheat and they do like a slight delay from the front to the back speakers. But Arcade Fire did like an entirely new mix in everything for their surround sound. And some of it was honestly nauseating how, I don't know a good word
in a good
for
way
it.
or a bad way?
It was good. Like it was so well done that like, so, in our studio, we had like, a $3 million listening room or whatever. So like the speakers were in the perfect place. They were perfectly tuned. The room was tuned. So like when you're sitting in the engineer's chair and you're listening to their mixes, it like made you lose a sense of like 3-dimensional space. Like it just... it was so disorienting in some parts where obviously they wanted that effect, but other times it was just like really enjoyable listening to things flying around the room, and sometimes it sounded like it was coming from right on top of your head. Other times the whole mix itself, like as one, just kind of slowly rotated, and it made your body want to like follow center. It was crazy. Like I'm not a huge fan of their music, but I will always like have that fond memory of experiencing music in a way I never have before because of one of their 5.1 mixes.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Two quick things to add that are totally unrelated, although I did want to say out loud that is super freaking cool, and I kind of want to revisit them, and I'm sorry for any slander earlier in this podcast that I laid upon them. But number one, that song is called Wake Up. Good tune. Of course, I'm just a person who doesn't know anything, and there are many other good songs by them. The other point is that lead singer has been in the NBA Celebrity All-Star Game several times, and he's an okay basketball player. So just another equally important thing that should be known, even though Tom just went on a very long, beautiful description about how they're sonically they're a very advanced, forward-thinking band. But, you know, he plays a little basketball too, so just wanted to make sure we said it while we're going there. Now we don't have to do the episode. It's cool. We've covered all the bases. Everything's fine. But, yes, I think that leaves it to your number 5 selection, Mr. Kelly.
Yeah, so interestingly enough, and this makes sense, I didn't know they were a Canadian band either. I saw them on tour with Simple Plan, the band Seaway. They have a song called Still Weird, and it's just kind of an adorable little pop rock song. They're a very good band. Wasn't a huge fan of their latest record, but they're just a really fun... I hope this isn't talking down about them, but it's like a really fun summertime band. Their music videos are really fun. One of them for, oh God, I forget what it's called. It's just like every 90s thing you could ever think of. It was all green screened. They're just fun. They're great. And people at the show totally did not respect them because they were not as poppy as the other bands on the bill, but they really killed it. And I know they're doing pretty well, but I would like to see a lot more from them in the upcoming years. They're still a relatively new act. So, yeah. Still Weird by Seaway is my last pick. And that leaves me with Fat Lip by Sum 41. I'm Just a Kid by Simple Plan, Blooms by Youth Fountain, In Spite of Me by Like Pacific, and Still Weird by Seaway. This is the least diverse genre thing I've ever done in my life. It is all the same brand of pop punk, but that's okay. You want to do honorable mentions?
Well, that makes for the better mixtape, I guess, if someone was looking for some pop punk.
Right.
I was going for the all Canadian team, and I would like to issue an apology to each of them, every one of the next few artists. I know I've mentioned a few already. Apologies to, drumroll, please. Just kidding. No drumroll. One club horn. That's it. Make it beep. We're going. Leonard Cohen, apologies. Drake, apologies. Alanis Morissette, apologies. Bryan Adams, apologies. Celine Dion, apologies. The Weeknd, apologies. Justin Bieber, apologies. Sarah McLachlan, apologies. Michael Bublé, already said it, but still, apologies. Gordon Lightfoot, sorry, dude. Avril Lavigne, big apologies because we did a whole episode and it's not right. Geddy Lee, just kidding, we did Rush. Moving on. Ruby Robertson, I don't know you that well. You're a Hold Steady lyric, but I'm still sorry about it. Nelly Furtado, really, really sorry because honestly, I'm like a bird. It should have been on my top 5. I'm just really, really sorry. Anyway, moving on. Rufus Wainwright, apologies. Neil Peart, just kidding. Moving on. Paul Schaefer, I'm sorry to Paul Schaefer, even though I don't even know what the song would have been. Grimes, not that sorry. Deadmau5, not sorry. Shawn Mendes, not sorry, but keep doing your thing. That's it. Feist, sorry. Mushaboom is a fucking bop. And that's the end of my apology list.
So I have Girlfriend by Avril on my honorable mentions, along with her entire catalog. I did have Leonard Cohen because of obviously the song Hallelujah, although I don't like his version of it, but he did hand that song off to whatever his name was, who does the version that everyone thinks of. I'm so sorry, I can't remember his name right now. Buckley, Jeff Buckley, there we go. Billie Talent is a band that, oh God, I think this was 8th grade. Jay Scott would have introduced me to them. I remember listening to River Below on a pretty steady rotation with Best of Me by the Starting Line in 8th grade as I tried to get off of Tutorial Island in RuneScape. And I didn't know this. There was a Canadian punk rock band from the late 80s called the Hanson Brothers. Yeah. I thought that might have been like the working title for Hanson, but no, it's a totally different band.
A quick note about Jay Scott. He was kind of the Hannah Beckman for us, but male version.
Oh, yeah.
In the sense that he was musically a big influence, but the big difference being that neither of us were sexually attracted to him.
And I didn't date him.
Right. You didn't date him for several years. Right. There's a few key differences there, but in terms of music influences and being just generally cooler than we were at the time, big props to Jay Scott, of course. I think I've told the anecdote on the show before, but a sheepish AIM conversation when we started a band. I was like, "Hey Jay, you got any songs?" He was like, "What?" It's like, "Can we just have some of the songs?" He was like, "No." And just, you think about all the things that keep you up at night in terms of the most humiliating things ever. It's like, hey, Jay, remember that time I asked you for the music you've written just to kind of give to us? And you said no. And moving on, I'll never talk to you again, and I hope you have a nice life because I'm going to go jump off a fucking cliff. So, anyway.
Oh my God.
Can you imagine even doing a full episode with the accents?
I honestly thought we were going to do it, but it was so difficult to try to think of what I wanted to say and then how to properly say it. And I already am not good at accents. It was, there was just no way.
The last several times we've done O Canada, most of the lines we've written for ourselves are the word oi. Just saying, oi, bruv, you bit mental. And I think I didn't realize it was going to go from Australian to Cockney so quickly. Like, I think it just was an immediate shift. So I think we spared everybody a little bit of grief by, I think we did it too long as is.
Too long, way too long.
But yes, I am going to say a huge thank you for indulging me because I wanted to do that for, I guess, ever since watching the rewatching, I should say, the Johnny Karate episode of Parks and Rec, and I wanted to do a full O Canada episode, but we couldn't slap it together at the last minute. We were supposed to do the Baja Men episode, but we keep going down that rabbit hole, and we're afraid we're not going to do it justice.
I was like having a panic attack, like I can't handle this responsibility.
Dude, I don't think we can pull this off. And like, there's no pressure at all. There's zero pressure, but we're both like sweating it out. Like, I just don't want to disrespect the Baja Men like that because there's too much lore involved with this one. And it's kind of true. And we might do it one day, but we want to make sure we at least get our claws into it. And I want to see the documentary, to be quite honest with you, the one that premiered at South by Southwest this year, because there's definitely a very good story there that's been told with more detail and time by others other than us at the moment. But and maybe someday we'll dig our claws into that one.
Part of the problem I was having is that, you know, in my head I was like, oh, they're kind of a one-hit wonder. You know, if the episode isn't perfect, people will forgive us. But I found out they were only a one-hit wonder in America. In the Bahamas, where they're from, they're still like wildly popular. Like,
yeah, they're huge, right? So it's like this really respected, like, I forget the name of the genre, the specific genre, but they're like, hey, here's a hit so you can be big in America. And it's like, oh, haha, Baha Men. But it's like, no, not only does that phrase have like 8 people in the lawsuit named for who came up with it, but they were already famous and didn't even really need that business. I'm sure there was money involved that they don't regret, but what a mess. What a beautiful mess that we didn't get to this week. And Tom was kind enough, because he's a giving soul, to dive first into this Canadian draft in which we were attempting to do an entire 40 minutes of O Canada, which it's not built for that. As we've learned, I think that became wildly obvious by minute 4, by minute 1. It's hard to say.
I also couldn't find a version of the Canadian national anthem on YouTube that lasted for 40 minutes. So it was a failed experiment.
Oh, you play it underneath everybody every time we've ever done it?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it tuned out. And I've listened before. I didn't realize it played throughout the whole thing. Well,
Not only do I play it throughout the thing, but I actually time it so that if the episode goes short, I can cut it so that you don't hear the cut, and then it ends at the proper ending of the song. It doesn't just fade out. It actually sounds like it completed the full song. Dude, I put work in, man. I put a lot of work in.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
and we didn't rip off Letterkenny too much. I said D-Gens from up north only once. And I think Jared Kiso won a Canadian equivalent of an Emmy recently. So did Catherine O'Hara for her work on Schitt's Creek. But that popped up in the Twitter feed a little bit. But definitely some comedic love going to Schitt's Creek and Letterkenny at the Canadian equivalent of the Emmys this past week for those who care. But two good shows that you should check out if you haven't. Any other Canadian things you want to mention other than the fact that living in Erie, PA, their coins were sometimes in the change we would acquire? Just living life.
Yeah, I was always captivated by the two different colors in the dollars. You got that bronze center and the silver outside or whatever.
Yeah, you gotta be like,
nice.
It's gonna fall back through the machine if I try to buy a Pepsi with it, but it's worth a shot.
I know.
Just in the right weight, I guess. Like, I mean, this is basically their quarter. Why wouldn't it work? It just doesn't. So whatever.
Well, do you want to give our song of the week and get out of here?
Fine.
Didn't mean to cut you off there. Sorry, you can finish your thought. I can edit it back in.
No, it's over. It's done.
John.
I'll go first, I guess. Periphery did an official leak of their record, which is coming out Friday, which is the day this episode airs. It was their first release on their own record label, and someone they sent the album to early, unfortunately, uploaded it like a f***ing asshole, a bad internet boy, and they wanted to get ahead of it. And
still funny. I can't say mad at you forever. Internet boy, good internet boy is still really very funny to me. I forget if we were still talking in accents when that came up, but good stuff. Very funny.
But yeah, they basically just uploaded their own leak to YouTube just to have like the high quality. People don't have to go to shady websites. And the song It's Only Smiles, again, I heard the record a few times when I was in Vegas with Spencer, who is the singer of Periphery. He let me listen to the album a few times, and I've been dying to listen to this song because Periphery is like a really technical metal band, but this song about Spencer's sister is almost pop punk, about as pop punk as a technical metal band could be, prog metal or whatever. I've been just, dying to hear it for about a month now, and it's finally out. We'll put a link just to the whole album in the show notes to listen to Periphery's new album, P4, Hail Stan. It's good. It's very good.
Well, I haven't heard it yet, but Billie Eilish, the young pop star from the UK, I think. Jesse and I really enjoyed the song Ocean Eyes last year. I think we were trying to incorporate it somehow into our wedding, but it was just a little too moody to include on a day of celebration. But obviously she's a really big pop star for how young she is, and I guess she has new music coming out. When We All Fall Asleep is the new album. So I'll be checking that out, her and Jenny Lewis with new music in the past month, and that is what I've been checking out, or will check out, I should say. And you were talking about how the drummer for, who was it, was into Billie Eilish, or it came up or something when you were in Vegas, when you went down there for, I guess, to promote the book, but also to promote the pod. Is that interview coming out anytime soon?
We're going to talk, I think it's next week we're going to chat and probably hopefully have an interview out in 2 weeks. I'm not sure. Seems to be a little, I mean, he's busy, release of a huge album. So I'm hoping to get the time. Yeah, I went down there for an interview, came back without one, and did some Gene stuff in the process. But yeah, Spencer, the singer, is the one who, I guess I've heard Billie Eilish before. Megan's played it, you recommended it, but he's the one who was like, no, stop everything you're doing. We're listening to the whole album through, and we did.
Oh, so it was Spencer who was into it. I thought it was, for a second, I thought it was the
Creed guy.
Yeah, I thought it was the Creed guy.
No.
It was Spencer who's a fan. But yeah, Ocean Eyes is, it hits you hard. Not as hard as Something by Julian Baker, but it's like, aha, Okay, so it's gonna be one of those days. Like when you hear it, you're like, I gotta listen to this for 3 days now. It's like I didn't think I was gonna have to enter into this 3-day thing, but it's gonna send you there. So be prepared. But it's lovely, and I'm sure her new music will be just as transformative.
The album's already out, by the way. So
no, yeah, for sure. This show's too cool for the speed at which I consume music.
Okay.
So I just have to look at iTunes when we do this segment and be like, oh, someone I like put like last week. It was like, oh, Jenny Lewis. Yeah, I had recommended something she had put out a few weeks before last show or the last time we recorded. But it's like, yeah, well, the rest of it's out, so listen to it. I'm not cool enough to have one every week, so I'm trying my hardest. Everybody, please forgive me. And again, too much time on the audiobooks. I'm on Calypso by David Sedaris. It's darker, I should say, but still kind of funny.
So the songs of the week, it's Only Smiles by Periphery, and yours was the Billie Eilish record. Both of those, this is an ad, are on Apple Music, of which Pat and I are both users. I love it. I've been using it for a couple years. Pat, I think you like it, right?
I made a playlist the other day, so yeah, I use it. I don't know. Yeah.
All right, well, the songs we recommended, and we're going to make a playlist of our picks for the Canadian draft. Those are on Apple Music, along with the 20 trillion kabillion other songs in the iTunes library. If you sign up, you get 3 months for free. So there'll be a link for that in the show notes at reminiscentpodcast.com/episode/121, along with just straight up links to all the other stuff we talked about. So there's our first ad for Apple Music, because honestly, that changed my life. I never have to. I think I'm still doing an ad, but I haven't been on a torrent site since the day Apple Music launched, and that makes me super happy. So, cool beans. Well, let's get out of here.
All right, bye.
Love you, dude. Bye.
Love you too. Bye.
Guys, thank you so much as always, and for absolutely suffering through the first 12 minutes of this episode. I have no idea what our sister station up north was doing this week, but it was all over the place. But hey, why don't you tweet at the show at _reminiscentfm and let us know what your 5 favorite songs that have come out of Canada are. We'd be interested in checking them out. You can find our playlist on Apple Music in the show notes at reminiscentpodcast.com/episode/121. All right, we love you all. See you next week. Bye. This is so hard.
All right, you want to bail into the rest of the episode irregular?
Yeah, I can't think of what I'm trying to say and do the accent at the same time.
That's fine. Let's keep going. You want to start over?
Oh, God.